So I just wanted to take a minute and recap what we learned about Book Creator last week. It's a lot to take in. So I just wanted to give you this slideshow and this video going through this slideshow in case either of those are helpful tools for you. There is at the very end a slide with a teacher book and a student book guide with a lot of links that can directly take you to those helpful tools as well. So the first thing here is there's a quick about 1 minute video just about why does Book Creator work in the classroom. You're welcome to come back and watch that later. It just kind of is a quick overview of everything that we have learned about Book Creator. We know that it is good for that creativity, that engagement, having that student voice, making an authentic audience for students. It really engages that writing process and that brainstorming. It allows them to just collaborate with each other and in new ways that they may not be used to always using in the classroom. They can sign in through Clever if you need help adding that app for them or for yourself. Remember that students are signing in on a yellow background. If it says that right underneath the student sign in, it says switch to teacher. So make sure that you switch to teacher and you have that blue background, and then you can click sign in with Google to get yourself into Book Creator. The first thing you're going to see there is your teacher dashboard. If you're not seeing that teacher dashboard right away, there's 3 little hamburger lines together, and then that would bring you back to this. You'll have libraries, discover, learn, certifications, and apps. So we're going to take a look at those different categories. In Book Creator, there are a lot of things you can discover. Student creations are a really fun way to look through here and see what students are capable of doing. All of these in the show are linked so that you can see different examples of how students have told stories, used their tools, just use this one is pretty fun to see how a student was able to create their own science journal as they were going through class. And there are also lots of teacher creations that you can look at. You'll see on these books, we put remix. That means you can use those books that you're creating as a template. You share them out with your students and then they fill in those gaps. So how do I find those examples? On that teacher dashboard across the top, that second button is Discover. When you get there, there's a lot to scroll through, but the first thing we're going to see is if we can search by levels for different ideas. So they've got kindergarten separated out and then elementary, middle, and high. So you can go through and you can search for those. You can also scroll down just a little bit more. So you're still under Discover, but I scroll down and now I can find specific books that different book creators have come up with to give you a helping hand and templates that they have made. And then we also have ideas by specific subjects. So if you really are looking to engage your students in math and you want to know how you can further a math project with your students or have them demonstrate their understanding of a topic, this would be a great place to look for that. The different apps, I know we were going really quickly through this, but the different apps are all listed here. You are able to enable them. If they have the check mark, it means you have that enabled for yourself. And then under the settings, you can also scroll down and enable that for students. The 3D models is only for 16 and up, so none of us will be using that. We were checking into Canva. And Bitmoji is not, it's only for teachers. So you can enable like the Google Drive and the emojis and Giphy. Those are your choice if you want to have the students with access to those or not. So underneath that teacher dashboard, you're going to see all of your libraries. So right here you have My Books. Those are just books that you've created. It's private. It is locked. So those are just things that only you can see that you're working on or that you want to use for teaching perhaps. Then you can have any number of libraries that you want. Perhaps you want separate libraries for different assignments or topics. Perhaps you want to have a library for math. Maybe you just want one library that's for all of your class books. It's kind of neat once you have your library and you can click and display it like a bookshelf, and it's kind of fun for the kids to see it that way. To create a new library, when you click that button, it's going to give you different options. for the settings that you want. Do you want students to edit their books? Do you want them to be able to read each other's books or not? Maybe not at first, depending on the library that you have. Do you want them to be able to enable collaboration? Do you want them to just on their own be able to work with each other in the books? So those are some things that you can turn off and on in each library. At the bottom, you would have the join a library section. So if I'm the teacher and I'm inviting students, they're going to click join a library. I'm going to open up my library and share the code with them. Okay, for younger students, there is an option. Let's see. I don't know if on my screenshot. Don't know. Oh, no. So over to the right, there is underneath your name. When you click on your picture underneath your name, there is a section where you could create QR codes for students to log in as well and be a part of your library. Okay, so then we worked on creating. So at the top, there you go, underneath your picture. So here we go, we have a new book. So whether I'm in my private library, whether I've created a library, I'm just gonna go ahead and start playing with it. I'm gonna click new book. I can choose whichever shape that I like. I do like the idea of starting with a comic. I do not have to have comics squares, but it does give me different background options and different font and sticker options if I decide that I want to use them in the book. They also have right here at the top different templates that have already been created for you by book creator experts. Inside that little eye is called the inspector button. So any element that I'm clicked on, if like right now I don't have anything on my page, I'm just on the cover. So if I click on my inspector button, it's going to let me choose a background. I can scroll down and scroll through different backgrounds that I want. I can change that background. A little tip is to use this pin and pin the inspector button to the side of my book. Otherwise, sometimes it's kind of covering, overlapping it just a little bit, making it a little bit tricky. If I click on the plus sign, I can add the media, different shapes. The more rocket is the different apps that we looked at, the Giphy and the stickers and the Bitmoji, those extra features. If I'm going to do a 3D model, rendering something like landforms or a place, that could be found in there. Under the images, this is where we worked on that we could find a picture, which would be already usable with copyright. They're by Pixabay, and you can search for those and upload those. Or if you have a photo that you have on your computer, you can do the search from your computer and open it there. This is also where you could add a PDF file. So under images is where you would add anything from your computer, whether that be a picture or a PDF. If you do bring in a PDF, it will ask you if you want to have them all on separate pages or if you just wanted to make a link to your PDF. Underneath that, we do have the camera and then the pen tool, which has a lot of different options. At the top, I have my color, my brush type, my eraser, my fill bucket, and then there's those emojis that we can have. I have auto draw and different thicknesses tools here, as well as my colors, and my magic ink is underneath that. Pretty fun. If they're going to be typing, they can add that text in. They can also record and have that speech to text in as well. Once your book is all created, then we have some options. So I'm back in looking at my book in my library. That's where I can see underneath the title. You can change the title here. You can change the author information. And this share button gives you the different options. So if I want students to collaborate, here's where I would be able to click on collaborate and choose either the whole class or just specific students to collaborate on that book together. So here are the two resources that have been created for you by Rebecca Young. She is our learning specialist in the district. So the teacher guide has the first page is a clickable table of contents. There's also a student guide with those same features that you are welcome to use for yourself and for your students. So hopefully this was helpful. If you need any help or want to share some resources, feel free to reach out.